Let's talk about WWE, shall we?
All right.
WWE, the powerhouse, the juggernaut of professional wrestling. Again, guys, if you like the content, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and leave your comments on what you think about the current state of WWE. We're going to break this down into the main event, the women's division, the tag division, the mid-card divisions, the pay-per-views, and the booking. So, should we start with the main event, Cronus?
From the top again.
From the top. No better place to start. So, the main event scene in WWE, this basically revolves around two polar opposite programs in terms of excitement for me, personally.
At the moment,
Yeah, start with the most underwhelming one, which is the World Heavyweight Championship with Jey Uso and challenging Gunther at WrestleMania after winning the Royal Rumble, which in itself was a very controversial event, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. I'm still a bit, I don't know, upset's not the word, but just underwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the time I was okay with it because it was a shock factor and it wasn't what I was expecting, and I thought fair play for doing something outside the box.
Yeah.
But, you know, given what we've got since then, where it's just, you know, Jay coming out doing yeet chants, Gunther puts him to sleep in a sleeper hold for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks in a row.
Yeah. There's still a little bit to go as well.
Yeah, 5 more weeks. 5 more weeks of Gunther choking out Jey Uso before Jey Uso eventually beats him at WrestleMania. It's just not. I mean, I think what hurts the build is because I'm just not excited for the in-ring work of these two.
I mean, I like Gunther in the ring.
Oh yeah, of course.
But Jay is, yeah, he's all right. He likes super kicks and stuff.
I used to back in the late 90s. I loved a good super kick when there was only one per match. But I think the fact that we've already seen this match as well at Saturday night's main event, like week before the Royal Rumble, and it wasn't great. You know what I mean? You know, Gunther's great. We love Gunther, but I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us, put on a banger. Maybe. I'm just not excited for the match itself. Therefore, and I'm not. This might be me being guilty, but I don't expect Gunther to win. I expect Jey Uso to win because of TKO's business and merch selling, and you know Jay's been for so many title shots and he lost them all, and he won the IC title, lost it straight away. Are they really going to make him lose again? I don't think they will. I think they'll give him the title.
I hope against hope that they do just have Gunther crush him, like absolutely destroy him. But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think it's my bias because I think Gunther's title reign has been not as good as we thought it would be, and we haven't really had the Gunther matches that we've wanted from this reign. You know, we haven't had AJ Styles, we haven't had Ilya Dragunov, we haven't had, you know, Carmelo Hayes, all these great wrestlers you want to see get in the ring with Gunther. And we've had what? Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Jey Uso, you know, just not the feuds we were expecting. And he can still have those, obviously without the title, but it'd be better if he had the title, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think so.
So
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, like you say, 5 weeks to go. I just hope they can mix it up a bit, bring some emotion into the feud. I think Gunther's been very good in terms of his mic work in this feud. You know, kind of shooting on Jey Uso being a tag team wrestler.
Yeah,
which is, you know,
definitely.
But Gunther can only do so much. So we'll see what happens. On the flip side, we have, oh boy, Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Now this, I think if we'd have done,
quite again underwhelmed with Cody.
Yeah, I think Cody, like more recently, I think his feud with Kevin Owens I thought was really good. In terms of the matches they produced at the Royal Rumble and at the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, they were good, to be fair.
Yeah, I think if we were recording this before the Elimination Chamber and we knew it was going to be Cody versus John Cena, I probably wouldn't be excited about it because I don't really want vanilla John Cena versus vanilla Cody Rhodes.
No.
That's Vince McMahon booking of like, oh, we got the new John Cena versus the old John Cena. You know,
Once
like,
in a lifetime.
yeah, yeah, like the two biggest baby faces in history, outside of Hulk Hogan, who's not really a baby face anymore.
Not quite.
No, but now after what happened at Elimination Chamber with Cena, obviously the heel turn seen all around the world. Greatest heel turn in WWE history, probably.
Yeah.
And for anyone asking, Hulk Hogan was in WCW when it happened, so I think that's still the best. But I think, yeah, Cena turning heel was just unbelievable thing to witness for people like myself and Kronus who've been watching the product for, you know, almost 30 years.
Been a long time since I've been that shocked.
Yeah. I think CM Punk returning to WWE was one thing. But if you had asked me, which one do you see happening more likely? CM Punk returning to WWE or John Cena turning heel? I would pick CM Punk returning over John Cena turning heel. That's how unlikely I thought it would be. But we got it, and it was great. It was very well executed, and now it's really kind of, because when John Cena won the Elimination Chamber, I just kind of slumped in my couch and thought, oh, God, it's 4 a.m. Cena's going to challenge Cody. What are we doing? And then obviously it happened, and my excitement went from about a 3 to a 10 instantly.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And I think, like you say, Cody, you know, Cody is a very vanilla babyface, isn't he? He's a man of the people. He's a company man, people's champion. He's very, you know, shaking hands with the crowd. He's kind of a, you know, a classic, what do you call it, a blue collar babyface.
Yeah.
And I get it. I'm not. It doesn't really excite me much. I think he has a couple of good feuds. Like Kevin Owens is really good. Do we get more with Randy Orton? Maybe that would be really good, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, there's still time for that one.
Yeah, it depends who wins at Mania. I personally think Cena's winning at Mania. So
yeah,
what do we do then? But yeah, the main event scene I think is a tale of two polar opposites at the moment. One I'm really excited for, and the other not so much. But I also want to bring up kind of like what could be a side main event at WrestleMania, which is the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk situation. Which I think has largely been very good as well.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's been done very well with these three guys. Three excellent people at what they do. And I wasn't really a fan of the idea of the triple threat match going into Mania because there's just no stakes and just kind of what's the point? But after that closing angle on Raw, where you saw CM Punk being, you know, comforted by Paul Heyman in front of Roman Reigns, I think that added a lot to my excitement for kind of tying these three people together in a match. And if it leads to Paul Heyman siding with CM Punk over Roman Reigns as the favor, then yeah, that could be something that would also shock us again. So I mean, that could be the Saturday night main event at WrestleMania potentially.
I think so, yeah. I don't think it'll main over any of the title matches. I don't think it should.
No.
But yeah, it is a main attraction, shall we say.
Yeah, it's three absolutely massive draws, isn't it? From a business point of view. But moving on to something that could main event night one, let's talk about the women's division.
Yes.
And let's talk about the... Well, we spoke about the underwhelming one in the men's first, so we're going to switch it. We're going to switch it around, and we're going to go for the exciting women's main event angle, which is Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky.
Yeah.
So another shocking moment a couple of weeks ago: Io Sky beating Rhea Ripley for the women's title, women's world title, which was
yeah.
Were you shocked? I was surprised. I was actually shocked.
I really was. I'm totally for it because I'm an Io stan.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think they'd do that.
No.
So, you know, on the road to WrestleMania, that's certainly a shock, yeah.
Yeah. There have been some spanners in the works this year. We've had, when you think about Jey Uso winning the Rumble, Cena turning heel, and Rhea Ripley losing the world title on Raw. There's just three things I just wouldn't. On January 1st, I would say those three things never going to happen. But they all did, and we're only halfway through March, and all three of those things have already happened. So I do like the unpredictability we are seeing at the moment. Obviously, some of it plays out better than others. But yeah. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. So as it stands today, on the 15th of March 2025, it is Bianca Belair versus Io Sky for the title at Mania. Obviously, if you watch the product, you can clearly see where it's going, and that it is going to be a triple threat match. Who do you think wins?
Tough one.
I've got no idea.
No. I don't really think it should be Rhea again so soon.
No.
Well, she can just do something different for a while. So, Bianca or Io? I want to say Io.
I mean, yeah, it would be good to have Io obviously not lose the title shortly after she's won it. I do wonder if this is the match they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they thought that if Io had the title, it would be easier to have Rhea force her way into the match than it would be Io, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Rhea's got more of an edge to her, hasn't she? In terms of, she can act like a bad guy really well because she's been there and done it very well. So I think Rhea is more convincing at looking in from the outside and trying to force her way into the match, whereas Io I don't think would pull it off as well. So maybe Io being the champion was the right call. But yeah, I don't know who wins. I don't know. I mean, I think all three of them are probably the three best in the company. So on that basis, should it main event night one? I think it should.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the story is there as well. I think it's obviously you've got the whole Jade and Naomi thing as a side plot to this with Bianca. So Bianca's actually working two separate stories here. Obviously the feud with Io and Rhea, and then obviously she's kind of, by proxy tied up with this Jade and Naomi thing. So I'm interested to see how they kind of play that out over the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, no, that is an intricate web for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll kind of like tie them all together somehow. That'd be really cool if they could do that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And on the other side of the women's main event, we have Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I don't know, man. Like, both Royal Rumble winners this year have just not really hit, have they? In terms of their follow-up, the feud going into Mania. What do you think about the Charlotte and Tiffy angle or story?
I'm sure it'll be a good match at Mania because they're both like athletically really good.
Yeah.
So like that, I'm not worried about. But yeah, it's the sort of build. It hasn't been. I mean, had a beat down recently from Charlotte, didn't we? But otherwise, it's not been amazing yet. They've still got time. But Charlotte Winslow.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, and I think having too much time is a problem because the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania are quite far apart to build one feud. And it's very difficult because you remember WrestleMania 39, Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
One of the best women's matches we've ever seen. And probably one of the best we will ever see. But the build was crap. And it was repetitive and it was boring. And it was just the same shit. Because they had from like the middle to the end of January to the middle of April, which is like 3 months, 2.5 months to build. And it's too much time, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes that can really be a detriment.
Yeah, it's very rare that you have a story that is so well told that it flows perfectly from the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. Last year was a good example with Cody. But they had The Rock. They had The Rock come in. But that was by accident, wasn't it? Because it was going to be Rock versus Roman. But they fucked up and everyone went crazy and the Cody crybabies and the hashtags and So that sort of fell in their lap, and it turned what probably wouldn't have been a great build into a really interesting one all the way through. But yeah, it's difficult with the Rumble, whereas with the Elimination Chamber, there's a lot less time, but I think it's a good amount of time. Like 5-6 weeks is a good amount of time to build a really good feud. So yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that the Royal Rumble winners' stories have not been as engaging as the ones we're seeing coming out of the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. What can you do though, really?
No, exactly. That's the schedule, isn't it? So, I mean, SmackDown last night.
We're on that path now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. SmackDown last night, we did see a bit of a step up in tempo with Charlotte and Tiffany, with their little pull apart brawl they had that kind of bled into the next match as well. With Tiffy doing her swanton bombs on the security guards and missing Charlotte entirely. But apart from that, yeah, it's not been too great. So again, we'll see how it plays out. Again, still a long time left. But Cronus, what do you think about these brand new women's mid-card titles that have been introduced since we last recorded?
I think they're a good idea overall, definitely. But the way the champions have been treated since winning them hasn't been the best. I mean, both losing in was it chamber qualifier matches?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like, just put someone else in there. If you're just putting your mid-card champs in that match to lose, it's dumb, really.
It was. There's no other word for it. I mean, you've got an enormous roster of people who want an opportunity just to be on television. And, to your point, Cronus, you've got Lyra Valkyria, who is the women's Intercontinental Champion. She's had a call-up from NXT. She's the first ever holder of this title. And she's put in a Elimination Chamber qualifier match to lose to Bayley.
Yeah, what's the point?
I mean, it just devalues the brand new title. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Chelsea
Green. You can just chuck in there.
Yeah, can't you chuck anyone else in there? Natalia, chuck Natalia in there. Chuck anyone else in there. Zoe Stark. Where's Zoe Stark? Where's Shayna Baszler? Where are these people? Okay. And the same thing happened with Naomi and Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green was put into a qualifying match as champion for the Elimination Chamber, and she lost. And I think she's lost a couple of times, hasn't she?
Yep.
She lost in a tag match as champion. I was really happy when Chelsea Green won the US title, but I think it's just been a shit show, and I think the reign needs to end. I don't think it's got any legs left, because Chelsea Green is fantastic, but if you want to have this title taken seriously, you need an absolute hooper who's going to kick ass with that belt. And I just think, I love Chelsea Green, but I think for the title's sake and how she's been booked, which is not her fault, I just think it needs to go to someone else.
Yeah, I don't know if I can see them changing that too soon, though.
Yeah.
Especially with, it's not Alba Fire, is it? It is Alba Fire.
Yeah, it is Alba Fire, yeah.
Joining the Secret Service.
Yeah, the Secret Service is in full swing. I love the gimmick as well. I love Piper Niven. I think she's brilliant. She's so funny. I'll never forget when her and Chelsea dressed up as the Heart Foundation. I just pissed myself laughing for like 10 minutes.
It was brilliant.
I would actually, if you are going to play this out, I would actually build up to Piper turning face and Piper being the one dethroning Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think that makes the most sense. But they need to book Chelsea better in terms of, she can cheat all she wants. She can have her win matches. Just have her win matches. And don't put her in matches where, for storyline reasons, she can't win. Like Elimination Chamber, for example. Don't have her take the pin in tag matches. You know what I mean? Like, it's just simple stuff. Have her cheat to win. She's faced Michin, like 5 times? And all it's done is made Michin look like a loser. And I like Michin. I think she done some great work last year. but she's lost like 4 or 5 times to Chelsea Green now. What is left for her? She can't even challenge for a mid-card title anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty deplorable booking wise.
Yeah, very bad booking. So yeah, women's mid-card, meh, not too bad, but could be better. What does Jeff say? Frustratingly inconsistent on the women's division. He said Liv Morgan's world title reign was electric with her heel work, and Tiffany Stratton's rise is exciting. But Rhea Ripley being stuck in a loop with Liv Morgan for so long, and Bianca being underused and put in the tag division really hurt the women's division long term. Nia Jax was fine, but the division needed a shake-up. Too much talent, not enough direction. That's what Jeff says about the women's division.
Yeah, seems legit.
Yeah, pretty fair critique. Shall we move on to the tag team division?
We shall.
Bit of a hot topic for us last year, tag team wrestling.
Yes.
Because it was fucking terrible, for lack of a better term. It's a bit
like it is.
It's a bit better in WWE, isn't it? A little bit.
They're taking the right steps.
Yeah.
I'd say. Definitely.
Yeah. So I think since when we last recorded this, was it Judgment Day who were the tag champions, and they defended it like once in like a million days?
Yeah, I think so.
But now we have the War Raiders as the Raw tag champions, the World tag champions, and we have, as of last night, the Street Profits as the WWE tag team champions for the first time since January 2021.
Wow. Yeah.
That is crazy. 4 years. That's when they lost their last title.
They've been on the main roster all that time now.
Yeah. They have. It's crazy to think about that thinking about that time gap and how long they've been around with so little kind of recognition. Yeah. But let's talk about SmackDown. So I think SmackDown's tag team scene is much better. You got DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, Pretty Deadly, who I love. That's solid. You've got Los Garzas, great wrestlers. Yes, boy, you're right. I think, you've got 5 really good tag teams there. You can just kind of rotate. And, I think it's probably heading to a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. Just chuck them all in there. Why not? It's nice to have those multi-man matches at WrestleMania, isn't it? If you're going to do it anywhere. Maybe it'll be a ladder match. What do you think?
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, tag matches do lend themselves good to being multi-mans a lot of the time. So, yeah, put them all in the ring with the ladder and they will cook.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and I think in the last few WrestleMania, some of the best matches we've seen, even historically, have been tag matches. You look at TLC, look at that showcase we had at WrestleMania 39 with like the Street Profits, Alpha Academy, Braun Strowman, and I can't remember who else it was, but it was great.
With Nicholas.
Nicholas, man. Was it Braun and Ricochet? I think it might have been.
Braun and Ricochet. Yeah, I think they were together at that point.
Yeah. Oh, God, that feels like a lifetime ago. And then last year, obviously, we had the great ladder match where they separated the titles, even though I thought they were the wrong winners, but the match was great. So, yeah, I'm down for it. Big tag match at WrestleMania. Monday Night Raw, we've got the Viking Raiders, who are the tag titles. Who are the tag titles? They are the tag champions. They are holding the tag titles. I think it's probably a bit less exciting at the moment on Raw. But
a little bit, but I do like the War Raiders.
I do, yeah. So I called them the Viking Raiders, didn't I? God damn it.
Yeah.
I was almost calling them the Viking Experience.
They're allowed to say war now.
Yeah, you can't say war, pal. God, he's gone. The War Raiders, great, love them. Really athletic, big guys. I've always been one who I like big guys who can do extraordinary things. That's why I like Bronson Reed. That's why I like Ivar. That's why I like Jeff Cobb. But yeah, and apart from the War Raiders, we've got the New Day, who are they're old reliable, aren't they, as a tag team?
The old day, yeah.
The old day, yeah. I mean, the storyline they had going here was gone cold, I think. Not really a lot's happened. But they're a good tag team, and they're always handy to have in the division. Who else have we got? The LWO. Yeah. I like Dragon Lee.
I mean the tag team there. I can never remember their names, bless them. Is it Joachim Wild and...
Yeah, Joaquin Wild and Cruz del Toro.
That's it, yeah.
Cross of the
I
Bull.
think they're both really good.
Yeah,
but
they are.
Aren't really doing anything because of Ray and Dragon Lee.
Yeah, and I know that they're... It's like they're good wrestlers, but that's all they are, isn't it? Because they don't really get time to propel any character on screen. They don't really get any kind of involvement in deep storylines, etc. They're just there to wrestle, kind of thing. And it's a bit more difficult to engage with, I think.
Yeah, definitely. They don't have... When they've got the time, they don't actually have the time.
No, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Who else have we got on Raw tag-wise? There's not really a lot happening, is there? We had the Alpha Academy, the American Made, the Creed brothers. They're great. I mean, I think they are just an incredible tag team, and I can only hope that they are belted up this year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. And they're both incredible in the ring.
Yeah. And we've just had them challenge the War Raiders and lose, which I actually thought they would win. But I hope we can run that match back again, because I would like to see that match again. And I don't think there's any other tag team that's really close or capable of dethroning the War Raiders as a heel tag team. So I think overall it's gotten better, but it's still not, not lighting the world on fire. But I think SmackDown is ahead of Raw, definitely.
Yeah, by the way.
What does Jeff think? He says, finally turning a corner. The War Raiders and DIY as champions brought stability. And even Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez's reign is a breath of fresh air. However, depth is still an issue. Too many thrown together teams. It's improving, but not yet at full power.
It's like you read our minds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, love Jeff. Let's move on to the mid-card titles. We've done the women's mid-card, so we'll just focus on the men's ones here. Kronus, what do you think of Bron Breakker as IC champion at the moment?
He's doing really good work, actually. He's making it feel a bit like Gunther did for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, makes it feel important. It doesn't look like anyone's going to touch him for a bit either, which would be good.
Yeah, I hope so. I think for me it's kind of it feels like a slow burner in a good way. He every match he has, he impresses. I see some people say it's underwhelming, and I get that. There was a period like I think it was January, where he just didn't have much TV time. But when he does have TV time, he usually makes it count.
Definitely.
And I think it's a bit like Gunther, isn't it? Like, just let the guy wrestle.
Exactly.
Let him wrestle, and he'll impress you. What he does going into Mania with the IC title, my God, you've got Penta, Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne, Sheamus, like a whole field of great talent there. Looking at that title, Finn Balor's got a title shot next Monday. So I don't know. Are we seeing the final Sheamus coronation as a Grand Slam champion at Mania? Are we finally going to get it?
Maybe.
It's poetic, isn't it?
If they're going to do it anywhere,
yeah,
really, it should be there.
Yeah, unless I wonder if Sheamus, let's say Sheamus is not in the match or loses at WrestleMania, I guarantee they're going to do Clash at the Castle in Ireland this year, and that's where he'll do it.
Well, that would be, yeah. The only thing that could beat Mania would be that.
Yeah, unless they do what they did to Drew and have him fucked over twice in his home country for the world title. Poor Drew. So what else are we talking about? Bron Breakker. So yeah, I mean, the IC title is well up for grabs in terms of who could challenge. Could be, I mean, there's so many potential multi-person matches at Mania that it's almost overkill this year. It's like, you got triple threats here, triple threats there, multi-man tag, multi-man IC title. It's like, we can't do all of them. So
tough to call that one.
Yeah, and it's good, because we like to find out. I just hope we don't see on social media, oh, they are planning this. This is going to happen. It's like, that's not the kind of reporting we want to see from social media.
No.
I would rather them report on things that have already happened and give us the details rather than things that are going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this sort of spoiler culture is a bit weird.
Yeah. It's almost just like, look at me, I've got sources, I can prove it. It's like, yeah, we get it. Stop swinging your dick around and stop spoiling shit. Anyway, rant over. The US title, which is, as of last week, A.I.W again.
Yeah, after a pretty underwhelming Shinsuke reign.
What the fuck happened? It was not like the worst US title reign I've probably ever. It's worse than Austin Theories.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was pretty dire recently.
Yeah. I think the US title reign is the worst title in the company.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah. I think we mentioned this on one of our other videos, but I put a thing out on social media once saying, when was the last great US title reign? And people said it was John Cena's Open Challenge from 2015.
Well.
That is 10 years ago. I mean, in 5 seconds, can you think of any memorable US title reign since then?
Not reigns, no.
No, can't think of any. Nope. It's just been. I mean, LA Knight, I thought last year had a decent little reign. I don't know why they put it on Nakamura if they weren't going to do anything at all, and then lose it again to the same guy. I just don't know whether something was going on in the background. Was there a specific reason that had to happen? I don't know, but it sucked.
Wasn't there a thing about putting a title on Nakamura when he went to Japan?
Yeah, that might have been it.
Prestigious.
But that is cutting off your nose to spite your face, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, because it makes the product look bad on television.
It's like putting the WWE title on Jinder to try and sell in India.
Yeah. We all know how that went.
Yeah. Rip.
Poor Jinder. Don't hinder the Jinder. I think, US title reign needs some serious help. But we take some vignettes that we saw last night on SmackDown. For anyone who hasn't watched SmackDown, go watch it. But there were 2 vignettes. One of them was Rey Fenix, obviously, unless it was Chad Gable dressing up. And the other one was, I think we could all probably guess, Aleister Black. And I think I assume if they are advertising a Rey Fenix vignette on SmackDown, then he will be going to SmackDown. Because with Penta, they did all the vignettes for Penta on Raw.
Yeah.
And there were none on SmackDown. So, are they going to keep them separate? I think that's the right move, personally, at the beginning.
Maybe start off with.
Yeah.
But surely they won't be able to get away with not mentioning that they're brothers on commentary.
Yeah. Potentially.
Then if they just sort of keep them separate for now, and then further down the line, eventually get them together as a tag team and then go, oh, they're actually brothers.
Yeah. I mean, I think that...
It'd be a bit weird.
I think the tag team is definitely the end game.
Yeah.
But if you look at that potential... And we've got a draft after WrestleMania as well. Apparently. That is confirmed, apparently. So let's say you move... let's say you swap world champions, okay? Cody goes to Raw, or John Cena goes to Raw. Gunther moves over to SmackDown. Bring over Ilya Dragunov as well. And then you have a US title scene of Carmelo Hayes, Rey Fenix, Aleister Black, LA Knight, Ilya Dragunov. That's the kind of scene this title needs.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
Just absolute belters everywhere you look. So maybe that's what they do to breathe some life into the US title, because it's just not entertaining. And Andrade and Melo, we thought were going to be the ones to kind of really push the US title, and they had some great matches together. Melo's still losing. I think his redemption arc is coming soon. Somebody who gets that much TV time and loses all the time only means one thing: they're due for a push at some point. But yeah, there's it's just not very good, is it? US title.
No, definitely needs some fresh faces and, as you say, banger feuds.
Yeah.
banging matches.
Yeah, even if it's just some
Possible.
banging matches. Yeah, because like we people crap on AEW for just having banger matches, but when there's no story and no banger matches, then that's unforgivable.
Yeah,
And that's what the US
exactly.
title scene is. So that's the mid-card division. What does A.I.W say? Braun Breaker is a bright spot. Every match is must watch. LA Knight has kept the US title relevant somewhat. It's where WWE's workhorses usually thrive in the mid-card, but still needs some work with some more consistency. So there we go.
Yeah.
Pay-per-views, or PLEs, should I say. Those premium live events. Pay-per-views. I think the last, let's say, 8 months, largely underwhelming, WWE-wise, pay-per-views. I don't know how you feel, but I think that the 5-match card with loads of adverts is just not very good sometimes.
No, it doesn't feel sort of special.
No.
A lot of the time, it can just feel like a souped-up weekly show.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not quite up there with like NXT and AEW pay-per-views in terms of sort of how consistent they are.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they're the WWE's probably the worst of the 3, I'd say, overall on pay-per-view. Yeah. I think if you're going to have 5-match cards, they all need to be absolute bangers, like Black and Gold. Because Black and Gold had 5-match cards, didn't it? But they were all amazing. You'd have a tag title match, a women's title match, the world title match, and then either a couple of personal feuds or a mid-card title thrown in and a personal feud. And they were all great. Like, all really, really good matches. But let's take Bad Blood, for example. Last year. I was really excited for Bad Blood. A, because we had Punk and McIntyre at Hell in a Cell. And also because we had feuds that we thought were going to come to an end, like Rhea versus Liv and Damian versus Finn. And we had, the Cody and Roman teaming together. And it opened with the Hell in a Cell match, which was really good. Might be my favorite WWE match last year. But I thought the rest of the show was just really bad overall. Like Dom in a shark cage. Bailey and Nia was really bad. Priest and Finn didn't really do much. And then The Rock came out and did the 3 fingers up, which at the time we thought, what the hell was going on? Just left a bad taste in my mouth. And it wasn't like a terrible show. It just, I don't know, didn't live up to the hype. And I felt that about a lot of WWE pay-per-views, especially at the back end of last year. What about you?
Yeah. Can't really say much better than that, to be honest. I mean, they all sort of blend together almost.
Yeah.
It's tough to say, oh yeah, remember this pay-per-view when this and this happened, these matches.
Yeah.
Not really without looking it up now.
No.
Because that's when that was.
Yeah, if I asked you, what was the Bash in Berlin card, what would you say? It's like, I don't know. I
know Gunther was there.
Yeah, Gunther was there. Yeah, safe bet.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They do kind of outside the big 5, and even a couple of those last year weren't very good. I thought War Games was pretty average, to be honest, last year. Women's War Games match I thought was bad. Men's War Games was better, but after having CM Punk return at the last War Games, I don't think I was gonna get more excited than that. So yeah, pay-per-view is not great. I think the Royal Rumble this year was very good. I will say that. I thought it was a very, very good Rumble. I thought Elimination Chamber might have been the best pay-per-view under Triple H in terms of what they did. So 2025 looks good. I'll say that. They've had 2 for 2 so far. Obviously, WrestleMania's next, which we think will be great. So yeah, maybe we're starting to see an upward trend in, pay-per-view quality. So yeah, I guess we'll see.
Certainly hope so, yeah.
Booking and creative. This one is, I think there's so much WWE television. With like almost 6 hours a week across 2 shows, excluding NXT. The booking, if I was going to give the booking a score out of 10, I would probably go from probably a 6.5 to a 7 at the moment. That's probably what I would give it.
Yeah.
It's not amazing, but they've done some things that have been largely well received, especially in the main event scene of the men and women. But I think Kronus, like you mentioned, with the women, the use of the women's mid-card titles has been very poor.
Baffling, really, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it does lead you to question what's going on. I thought Io Sky not being in the Elimination Chamber was a strange move. But given what happened at the Chamber, Naomi obviously got the last spot. And now we know why, because of that really great Jade angle. So, who could have Io Sky replaced? Obviously, maybe Alexa Bliss. Maybe Roxanne. But I think it was important for Alexa Bliss to come back and have some momentum. Roxanne is obviously a rising star, and the Elimination Chamber is a good place to showcase what she can do. So, in retrospect, yeah, I think I can understand Io Sky not being in the Chamber, especially if she won the title like the next night on Raw.
Yeah.
So, not everyone's happy now.
Tense a bit more.
But yeah, I think the booking has been a bit hit and miss over the course of, say, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I mean, they've had some really great spots, but then some also really not so great spots.
Yeah, I think there's been some great stories as well, and some stories that started great but went on too long. So let's talk about Austin Theory's mythical face turn.
Yeah.
That apparently is, harder to find than the Holy Grail. I mean, Austin Theory, I think, has so much potential to be a top guy in years to come. He's just a great wrestler. He's got a great look. I think he's quite funny sometimes, and he's just like, he's got that kind of, at the moment in his character, he's got that sort of unseriousness that I kind of like. But I think he needs to turn babyface and turn on, beat out Grayson Waller, because they've been together for what, over a year now. Like, they won those tag titles at WrestleMania last year, and they're still together.
They've teased it a lot, haven't they?
They have, yeah. Like Austin Theory is doing the yeet chants now, and Grayson's telling him to stop. And Jey Uso faced Grayson Waller on Raw last week, and he's facing Austin Theory on Raw this week. So I'm sure we'll get another tease. But my God, man, just pull the trigger. Like, I don't want to be retired with a pension by the time Austin Theory turns babyface. I don't want to be sat there with my walking stick thing. He finally did it at the age of when he's like 60, and I'm like, however old I am. It just takes too long, and there's been a couple more missteps. Chad Gable and Otis, the potential that had as a feud, it was just wasted, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit of a throwaway that.
That could have been a pay-per-view match, Chad Gable and Otis, with Otis overcoming Chad Gable on pay-per-view to a great moment. And they just let it pass by. And it didn't really amount to anything. And they had great reactions on TV as well. The crowd was so into it. Like, so behind Otis. And he's one of the most lovable people on the entire roster. Like, if I hear anyone say they don't like Otis, I just don't trust them as a person in general. It's a red flag for me. You know what I mean? Because he's just so lovable, isn't he? You want to give him a hug. Like, whenever my partner sees Otis on TV, she goes, I want to hug him. I just want to give him a hug. So, yeah, I think that's a missed opportunity, because that is the crowd telling you they're into this. Nothing happened. Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan went from something I thought was really cool to something I hated and could not wait to end very quickly. And I think that probably started after Bad Blood.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
It did run its course quite a long time ago.
Yeah. And, you know, they say long-term booking is the way forward, but, you know, how long is a piece of string?
Yeah.
There's definitely a line here. But there's been some great stuff. Like, they managed to stretch CM Punk and Drew McIntyre over 8 months through an injury, and that was great from start to finish. That was perfectly paced. It was well told. It might have been because of the people involved are both amazing at what they do. The Bloodline has been a really, really well told story. Largely that was Vince McMahon's creation, but Triple H has seen it through since he took over with Paul Heyman and Michael Hayes, etc. I think, you know, the Bloodline may have had its peaks and troughs, but I don't think you could call the Bloodline story anything other than a huge success overall.
Yeah, no, that was WWE long-term booking at its finest it's been for a while, for sure.
I think it's the best story since Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, personally.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
Yeah. So yeah, there's good, there's bad. Will there be more good and bad? I'm sure there will be. You're never going to please everyone. That's the beauty of social media. So that's our opinion on the WWE. Let us know what you think in the comments.